If you want to see John Bradley coked out of his mind, then this is the movie to watch. Welcome back, guys. I got to watch this movie called American Satan that was released recently. You can find it on video on demand or on YouTube like I did. And before I get into the review, a lot of people have been asking me about the whole YouTube change that's going on, and I know it affects my channel, so I might do a video on that to answer some of those questions, but I'm not gonna worry about it so much right now. But anyways, this movie is about a young rock band, half of them being from England, half of them being from the US. They all drop out of college to pursue their passion, which is being in a rock band and making it big. So they move to LA to pursue this dream. And as they spend a lot of time trying to book gigs, living out of a van and trying to like find jobs to like sustain their living, it becomes really hard. But I don't know, where someone crosses their path and offers them something that they really want, which is fame, fortune, and to be rock gods. And at the same time, those things that he offers comes with a price. And that price is something that they have to heavily pay it, but at the same time, they can't really turn away because it's something they've been wanting for a long time. Now, American Satan was a very entertaining movie, guys, but it does come with its flaws. Overall, I would say that the acting is pretty good. I did like a lot of the performances. I wouldn't say they're the best, but at the same time, I feel like they did good enough, especially as an actual rock band and an actual group, because I felt them to be like an actual band. I felt like a lot of the times when there's tension between them, I felt it to be real. Some of them didn't work sometimes, some of them felt cheesy, sometimes I felt like some of the dialogue felt forced. Malcolm McDowell in this movie was pretty cool. I really liked his whole portrayal of Satan or Mr. Capricorn. Sometimes he was very cheesy with the stuff that he said, or sometimes the things that he would like demand from these kids was over the top, but as cheesy as it was the good cheese that you would want out of this type of film. The main actor in this movie, who's also the lead singer, Andy Biersack, who plays Johnny, was actually pretty good and pretty decent. I really liked his character in this role until the very end, because some things changed there, and I'll get to that in a little bit. John Bradley, who practically plays Samuel Tarly from Game of Thrones, just with drugs and whatnot. So I really liked his character in here because I'm already familiar with it. Drake Bell is in it as well, and I'm kind of glad that his character is only in it for like a little bit, because his character was really starting to annoy me, and also his performance in this one wasn't all that great, maybe because of the script, but other than that, I really did not like his character whatsoever. Then there's some other appearances in this movie, like Goldberg, which was in it, was pretty cool. I liked seeing him in a movie, which was, I did not expect that at all. Now, the movie mainly revolves around the young rock band, but it also heavily relies on Johnny's background and his whole story. He leaves his hometown to pursue this dream, and behind he leaves his girlfriend and his mom, who he really cares about. He's trying to do all these gigs under the influence, and it starts to mess with his lifestyle because he doesn't know how to balance it correctly, and he just goes down this rabbit hole of like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, like they kept repeating in the film. And while he's trying to deal with all that stuff, at the same time, he has Mr. Capricorn demanding a lot of things from him, which can be outrageous at points, but at the same time, it's what causes this film to be very interesting and intense at some point. Now, the best thing about this movie is the soundtrack. I really dug it. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I was like so into it at points, and it played along so well with a lot of the scenes that they were playing. One thing I would say about this movie is that they do tackle the whole sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I feel like that was the main theme here. I feel like they were trying to show us what a young rock band would look like while they were touring. And the touring part of this movie was what made it intense, and like, and a lot of times they get into these altercations like at a bar, and sometimes with other rock bands that they like fight, they argue, and it just gets crazy. Like there's deaths involved and all that stuff. But sometimes I feel like they overreach with that stuff. Like for example, the mom and daughter bonding moment on the tour bus, I felt like that was a little bit over the top and outrageous, but that's just me. I want to know what you guys think about those scenes. Now, some of the demands that Mr. Capricorn wants him to do, or like he calls them rituals, are very interesting, but at the same time, I feel like when he demands those things, I'm like, do they really need to do that? Like, it doesn't make sense sometimes. So it kind of plays with that whole idea of like the Illuminati controlling the music industry, you know, like, do you guys like believe in that or not? Like, you know, does that really happen in the music industry? But, you know, according to this movie, it does, obviously. But I like at moments how they illustrate that with artists that we know nowadays, like Kanye or Jay-Z, and, you know, other rock stars like Carlos Santana. So they do mention a lot of those artists in this movie just as a reference, and it was very interesting to see. Now, my biggest conflict and kind of a complaint I would say is that, you know, with all the altercations that they get into, all the publicity they're getting, you know, yeah, I mean, they're gonna be shown in news, but it causes like for a massive like worldwide reaction from fans, you know, like beating up bullies or causing deaths and all these crazy things. And for me, I feel like there wasn't enough time allowed for me to believe all that stuff that was going on, you know. And then the ending, guys, it's kind of a mixed bag for me, because the whole time we see Johnny as one person, you know, he's very concerned about his girlfriend the whole time. His mom's kind of sick, so he's worried about that. He's trying not to cheat on his girlfriend the entire time. And then out of nowhere, we get a completely completely different character. He's kind of almost like crazy, but at the same time he switches back and forth just in the final scenes. So in a way, it just plays with the kind of character that he's trying to be. And also the final demand that Mr. Capricorn asked for is just kind of outrageous, and obviously in real life, why would he even do that? Even though it's kind of like a stunt. It's kind of a spoiler, but at the same time, it's just like, why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. Even though they give you a reason for why they did it or why Mr. Capricorn wanted it that way, but it's still, to me, it just makes no sense. But in the end, guys, I really liked the chemistry between the rock band itself. Like, I felt like it was real. A lot of the altercations themselves felt pretty real, and I feel like that would happen in a real life situation. I know some of the stuff that was going on felt a little bit overreach, especially with the demands, but at the same time, it's a movie about Satan offering them fame and fortune. So obviously, you know, it plays with realism to a certain extent. So obviously, I'm not gonna take this movie word by word and try to believe it all the way, you know. So I feel like they had a lot of fun making this movie, and obviously I had fun watching this film. I just had my little nitpicks, like I mentioned, you know, like the whole overreaching things with like demands and whatnot. And like I said, guys, the soundtrack to this movie is pretty awesome. I really liked a lot of the songs. Even though I'm not like a hardcore rock fan, I just generally like any type of music. And I honestly think that you don't have to be a fan of rock and roll to watch this movie, or any type of rock, honestly. I feel like this is a good movie to watch. And I feel like it illustrates on the fact, you know, of like wanting fame and fortune at a young age. And I think they did a pretty good job portraying it with Satan and the Illuminati. So if you guys like movies like that, I highly recommend it. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. So guys, if you guys are new to my channel, obviously please subscribe. I hope you guys do check out the movie. I recommend it. Share this with your friends. Also give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the little bell when you subscribe. But as always, guys, stay tuned.